Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how to buy a home in Canada. Now, in my last video, we talked about the declining housing market in Canada and how this could be a potential opportunity for a lot of people to buy a new home. Now, whether you're looking to buy a primary residence for yourself or a rental property as a form of real estate investment, there are a number of things that you need to know about how the process of buying a home works so that you get the best deal possible and avoid as many problems as you can. Which is why I'm making this video as a full comprehensive guide for buying properties in Canada. And if you watch to the end of this video, you're going to find out exactly how you can get the best mortgage rate possible, how you can get a great deal on real estate, and as well as that, once you buy a property, how you can maximize its value as much as you can. But before we get into all that, if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. I make new videos about personal finance and investing on a regular basis. And by subscribing to my channel, you get to see all my new videos right as they come out. Also, if you appreciate all the detail that I'm going to go into in this video, then do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. But alright, with all that said, let's get right into it. Now, this first element is something that I've talked a lot about in my previous videos, and that is to make sure you have a high credit score. Now, the reason for that is because when you're applying for a mortgage, one of the most important things in your application is your credit score. Now, if you have no credit history whatsoever, or if you have a low credit score, there's almost no chance you're ever going to get a mortgage. Whereas if you have a high credit score, it essentially means that you're a very reliable borrower who always pays off their loans on time and in full, and that means that it's far less risky to give you money instead of someone else. And because of that, not only are you going to have a far easier time getting accepted for mortgages, you're also going to get the lowest rate possible. That's because any bank or financial institution that you apply to are going to try their best to get you as their customer, which also means that you can shop around your mortgage to get the best deal possible. This essentially means that you get an offer from a bank and then you go to another bank or financial institution and see if they can get you a better rate. And again, if you have a good credit score, this usually works because every bank or financial institution wants to get you as their customer. Now, if you don't already have any credit history or if you've been slacking and your credit score is not all that great, then it's time to change that right now. If you're building credit from zero or if you have a bad credit score which you want to improve, it is going to take some time. So if that is you, I highly encourage you to start building credit as soon as possible. In fact, no matter when you want to buy a home, you can start improving your credit score right now. All you need to do is get a credit card, or if you have one already, just use the same one and make sure you always pay off the balance on time and in full. And the same goes for any other loans you have. Just make sure you're always paying off the payments on time and in full. And as long as you do that consistently, your credit score is going to improve slowly but surely. Next up is to get pre-approved for a mortgage. Now, once you've saved for your down payment, you can go around to banks and financial institutions and give them all your information. They usually ask to see your tax returns from the past 2 years to determine what your income is. As well as that, they're going to run your credit score and also see how much you have for a down payment. And based on that, they're going to give you an estimate of how much you can borrow to buy a home. Now, the reason why it is so important to make sure you get pre-approved for mortgages before you actually look at properties is to know what your budget is. If you get approved for a mortgage for X amount of dollars, then you know exactly what you can afford to buy and what you cannot afford to buy. So you're not going to waste time looking for properties that are outside of your budget range or get emotionally attached to a property that you can't afford quite yet. So make sure to get pre-approved for your mortgage and make sure to shop it around, not just to get the best rates possible, but also to make sure you have different offers from different banks so that if one of the banks ends up pulling out for whatever reason or another, once you actually end up finding a good real estate that you want to buy, you at least have some other offers from other banks too. Next up is to make sure you see as many properties as possible. Make sure you go to as many open houses as possible and make sure you see a lot of different properties. This will help you gain a sense of what properties are worth based on where they are or what characteristics they have. And once you see a lot of different properties and get that sense, it is going to be a lot easier for you to tell whether a property is actually worth the value it's been set at or not. Think of it this way, if you've only tried one type of wine in your entire life, you have nothing to compare it to. You don't know if it's cheap wine, if it's expensive wine, if it's quality wine, if it's not so quality wine, if it has a good texture, if it has a bad texture, if it has a good color, if it has a good taste. You just have nothing to compare it to. Whereas on the other hand, if you've tried 20 different wines, then now you have a much better sense of what is good, what is bad, what is going to be worth a lot more money, what has good texture, what has good color. And then once you try a new type of wine, you're much better equipped to be able to tell how much that wine is actually worth. And the same goes for real estate. The more properties you see and see how much they're actually going for in the market, the better sense you get of how much a property is actually worth. Now, if you have a good realtor, that can be a big help as well, as they can teach you a lot of things about what makes a property worth a lot of money or not. So don't think of your realtor as someone who's there to just close on the deal. Try to learn as much as you possibly can from them. And of course, if you're looking for a good deal on real estate, make sure to find properties that need a little bit of remodeling or a tiny bit of repair done, because then you can save a lot more money on that house compared to all the money that you have to spend to do those repairs. So don't get discouraged by properties that don't look all that great as of now. Remember, you can change all of that with a little bit of remodeling or repair work. Instead, try to find a property that is in a good part of town and has all the characteristics that you need. Next up is to make an offer once you find a good deal. Now again, your realtor can help you a lot with this, but make sure you make offers that make sense for you. Try to offer the best deal that you can in order to secure the property, but also make sure you're not paying more than what the property is actually worth. And hey, if someone out there is willing to pay more for that property than what you have determined it's actually worth, then you know what? It's fine. Try not to get emotionally attached to that property. There will be other good deals. It's very important that you stick to the budget and not overpay on what the value of that property is. Now, of course, if it's only a matter of $5,000 or $10,000 more in order to secure the deal, then that's fine. You can overpay a little bit just to get that good deal over the line. But if it's a big difference, like $50,000 or $100,000 difference between what you think the property is worth and what they want you to pay in order to secure it, then it's fine. Just let it go. Just try to find other good deals that are within your budget, and if you make enough offers, eventually one of them is going to get accepted. Now, once your offer got accepted, it's very important to do inspections before you actually close on the deal. This is done to make sure there's nothing wrong with the property that you don't already know about. Because again, the last thing that you want is to buy a property, move in, and then find out there's all these things wrong with the place. So make sure to do the inspections, find out exactly what is wrong with the house and what needs to be fixed and how much it is going to cost to be fixed. Because then what you can do is before closing, just bring this up to the owners and say, hey, this inspector took a look at the house and he determined that I need to spend $10,000 in order to fix all these things that are wrong with it. Now, this is not going to happen every single time, but sometimes what the owners do is they say, it's fine, I'm just going to reduce that amount from the price of the house just to get this deal through. Again, not every owner is going to agree to this. Some are just going to say, it is what it is. Do you want the deal or not? Which is fine. You can close on the deal and just spend that money yourself, but it doesn't hurt to ask to see if they will cover it or not. And then once you close on the property, it's time to renovate and increase the value of the house as much as possible. Now, for any remodeling or repair work, just make sure you get a bunch of different estimates from different contractors to see exactly how much you have to spend on any of those elements. And of course, the main point of the repair and remodeling is to increase the value of the house as much as possible. Now, there are a number of specific things that you can do that add a lot of value to the house. Now, renovating the kitchen and the bathrooms is a big one, especially if they're not in a great state as it is. In fact, when it comes to repair work, you're going to get the most amount of return on any money that you spend remodeling the kitchen and the bathrooms. Now, another way to insanely increase the value of a property is to put up extra walls to make extra rooms. For example, if you take a 2-bedroom property and just add an extra wall in one of the bedrooms to make it a 3-bedroom property. Now, all of a sudden, this property is worth quite a bit more, even though it's the same exact property with the same exact square footage, with the same exact land and area. All you've done is you've made it a 3-bedroom property instead of a 2-bedroom property. And that difference in name alone is worth quite a bit more money. And of course, another important thing you can do is painting the exterior. Now, unless this is a newly built property or a property that was painted in the last year or two, it's very important that you paint the exteriors, because not only can you make it look nicer and worth more, but also putting a fresh coat of paint on the exterior will help prevent any damage or erosion, which of course will help you retain the value of this property for years to come. So make sure you do that and any other repairs that are needed so that you increase the value of the property and your own equity in it. Now that's about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Now make sure you're following me on Instagram. I post there regularly, so if you want to be a part of it there, make sure you're following me there. And as always, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about in this video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I always respond to every single question that comes in. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.